So Project B is a massive, massive league for the WNBA, and ironically, I think that Project B and one player in particular is going to really, really help the Indiana Fever out when it comes to how they're going to be able to recruit based off it, and how Project B could help the Indiana Fever realistically put together a title contender, because a lot of people have been talking with the new potential CBA, and we're obviously working on the assumption that there's going to be a season with the new CBA, that there's going to be some form of endorsements being in the place they want to be at anyway, and they made more overseas. But now, if you are taking a minimum versus, let's just say you were a 100k, that was your value in the previous CBA, as an equivalent in the CBA, it's probably about 350k. So instead of you giving up, say, the 220k to 350k, you're now looking at the situation where it's like, instead of giving up 20k, you're now giving up 120k. And that's something that teams aren't going to do unless the incentives are too good. And I don't think that 100k from the Vegas minimum contract 2 million. No, it's not. No, it's not. I would not be surprised. There are going to be players playing in Project B for under 100k a year. Or under 100k. Absolutely. There is a 0% chance that there are not players going to be playing for 100k. There are certain players making salaries up to 2 million because they have all the money. It's venture capital money. And at the end of the day, NECA, all-star, all WNBA, probably making in around 2 million. Same with Alyssa Thomas, same with John Quell. Lloyd had a bad year last year, but again, historically has been that level.
Listen to this. News tore through the league like an uncontrollable wildfire, a shockwave nobody could have anticipated. Sophie Cunningham, once hailed as Project B's undisputed crown jewel, the untouchable star everyone assumed would never falter, was suddenly out. And her reaction? Far from quiet resignation. It was raw, explosive, undeniable fury. This wasn't a simple announcement. It shattered any illusion of stability for every player involved in Project B. This wasn't some quiet, behind-the-scenes release. It was a public unraveling, a brutal reminder that in Project B's ruthless entertainment-first world, even the most irreplaceable talent could be discarded in a heartbeat. The very system that had elevated Sophie to unprecedented financial heights, the one promising millions, had, in a cruel twist, betrayed her completely. Her unique value, built more on magnetic personality and crowd appeal than on traditional basketball skill, became a double-edged sword. Those golden handcuffs meant to secure her loyalty now trapped her in a system that could turn on a dime. And Sophie's fiery meltdown? That was just the first tremor, the opening rumble of a much larger earthquake, exposing the chilling reality of impermanence in a venture capital-fueled dream that had promised so much but delivered uncertainty instead.
It would not surprise me if Sophie Cunningham is the highest paid player in this league, because we have to be smart about this. This is like a basketball traveling tour. This is a women's basketball traveling tour. Like, you're showing up to these places for 2 weeks. You have to put butts in seats, and maybe Kelsey Mitchell's getting paid higher, but there's nobody that's going to draw a crowd in this current crop of players more than Sophie Cunningham. I would be shocked if Sabrina Ionescu doesn't play. My theory, half the fucking Liberty on the team. Like, John Quell, Maureen Johannes is coming in.
Vidi
Ionescu doesn't play. My theory, half the fucking Liberty on the team. Like, John Quell, Maureen Johannes is coming in. We know from the following list. Maureen Johannes coming in, Leo Phoebish. Like, and people are like, oh, Nike won't let Sabrina play. Man, you do realize that it's a world tour. Nike can just set up shop wherever they're going. Nike can just follow Sabrina. That's exact. Nike would love for Sabrina to play. If Caitlin Clark, by the way, if Caitlin Clark's shoe was coming out sometime around Christmas, you better believe Nike would be pushing Caitlin Clark to play in Project B, so she can do her world tour while still.
Now let's talk about Project B. This league didn't just appear. It erupted onto the scene as a game-changing force, poised to reshape the entire landscape of women's basketball. Fueled by colossal venture capital, it wasn't simply another league. It was a direct challenge to the traditional WNBA model, offering players staggering financial rewards that felt almost too good to be true. The ambition was audacious. Project B could assemble a title-contending team for a franchise like the Indiana Fever purely through financial influence. This was the Wild West of professional sports, where money didn't just talk, it screamed. Top-tier talent was drawn in by promises of wealth far beyond what conventional contracts could ever offer. The initial buzz was intoxicating. Excitement and apprehension coexisted. New players were thrilled by the limitless potential, while veterans quietly questioned the stability and longevity of a venture so radically different from the status quo. This wasn't just a league, it was a revolution.
You have all of these players, and Sophie Cunningham is the best example. Like, Sophie Cunningham's a good WNBA player. Sophie Cunningham's about the 50th best WNBA player in the league. She is a player who starts on most teams. She's an underrated... The WNBA doesn't believe in role players, so she's one of those super underrated players. There's not that many people that do everything at a decent rate. And like, who's the better... For me, it's better to be a star in your role than be shit at being a star. Like, in unpopular opinion, I think Enrique at this point in time is bad at being a star. I think Jewel Lloyd in her last season in Seattle was bad at being... She became a fan favorite. And Lexi Hull as well. I think I would be shocked if Aaliyah doesn't play in this league. I would be shocked. I would be shocked if Lexi Hull doesn't play in this league. Genuinely, I would be shocked if Lexi Hull and Aaliyah don't play in this league. Because they're going to be making millions of dollars. And that's the thing when it comes to this league, is that, like, if you are a Indiana Fever player, your value, because there's no salary cap here, you're valued purely on what you bring to the league. How many eyes are going to be watching you? And if there's 6 Indiana Fever players...
Here's where things get truly explosive. Project B's arrival coincided perfectly with negotiations over a new WNBA collective bargaining agreement. The proposed changes threatened to slash coveted max contracts and, more controversially, eliminate winning discounts, bonuses for joining championship-caliber teams. Suddenly, sacrifices that had once been seen as noble and career-defining, stars like Cheyenne Parker, Taz, or Erica Wheeler taking pay cuts to chase a championship, were cast in a new, questioning light. The financial gap between a minimum WNBA contract and a player's true market value widened dramatically, transforming what once felt like a $20,000 sacrifice into a staggering $120,000 career-altering decision. Project B swooped in at the perfect moment, offering players a clear, undeniable way to reclaim their worth. Loyalty to the traditional league became a harder sell, as the financial landscape shifted radically. Every career choice, every allegiance, every plan was suddenly up for reevaluation. The advice was simple. Don't just be hungry, be strategic.
A whole bunch of Fever players are going to make a whole bunch more money than other players. Is Sophie Cunningham better than Leo Fevership basketball? No. But this is not a meritocracy in the best players are going to get paid the most money. This is a meritocracy in the way of, this is an entertainment league. Sports is with the way they're doing it. It's the reason why they hired that the events company. This is entertainment. This is the WNBA is the main thing. That's where you get this money from. And this is, okay, yeah, we're going to bring you guys all over the world and, all of these different places.
Now let's talk money. Project B's salaries were nothing short of astonishing. Megastars like Nika Awa McKay and Alyssa Thomas reportedly secured jaw-dropping deals in the $2 million range. Yes, $2 million. But there was a misconception spreading. Many assumed all players would earn similar figures. The reality? Far harsher. Many players, in fact, earned under $100,000. Project B's funding created a stark financial hierarchy. A few elite stars earned life-changing sums, while the majority played for exposure and the hope of future gains. Sophie's case was unique. Ranked around the 50th spot in the WNBA, she was a reliable, gritty role player, respected, but far from a superstar. Yet in Project B, her value skyrocketed, almost defying logic. Why? Not her triple-double potential. Not MVP awards she didn't have. It was her magnetic ability to draw crowds. Project B's model was built on spectacle, not statistics. Fans didn't just come for the game. They came for the star power. Sophie's charisma, her fire on the court, and her loyal fan base made her indispensable. She was a living marketing asset, turning audience engagement into direct financial value. This created a paradox. Players with superior skill, like Leo Febick, were deemed less valuable because they lacked the same crowd appeal. Project B prioritized entertainment, marketability, and spectacle over traditional athletic merit. The implications were staggering. A league could promise millions, but it could also retract that value overnight. Sophie's magnetic appeal was both her greatest asset and her deepest vulnerability. When the spotlight shifted, so too could her fortune. The lesson? In an entertainment-first model, celebrity trumps skill. Loyalty is fleeting, and even the brightest stars can be discarded without warning. Project B promised a revolution in women's basketball, but for Sophie Cunningham, it delivered a harsh, unforgettable lesson about the impermanence of fame, wealth, and value in a system that puts spectacle above all else.